Hey everybody, it's Kathy Klotz-Guest. Good morning. Happy Tuesday to ya. I hope it's fantastic wherever you are. I want to talk really briefly today about 3 ways that I think marketers screw up marketing. There's a lot more, don't worry, there's a lot more. But I think there's 3 big ways, and I see them all the time. I wrote a post on Medium last week about it because I keep having the same conversations with different people. Hey Jason, good morning. And so I want to sort of just get my feelings out there. I've always joked, because again, I'm an improv comic as well as a storyteller, and I've always joked that, great marketing it's like sex, but it can't be a missionary position. You can't always be teaching to people that have no interest in converting. You've got to teach to the already converted, and I'm preaching the same message here today, but I have a really important one. Hey Jason, hey Elaine, good morning. But this is really an important message, and I feel so strongly about it because I'm seeing these tactics used over and over and over again, and here's the issue. They may work in the short term, but in the long term, you're going to sacrifice the relationship. So here's 3 big things sticking in my craw, and I know there's a lot more, and I really want to hear from you what bugs you. So I think the 5th horseman of the apocalypse is a content marketer, and here's why. And I hope they don't get to heaven because they'll just muck the place up. You know it, I know it. And the worst thing to happen to marketing, marketers. So here you go. Here's the things that just stick in my craw lately because I'm seeing a lot of it. The first one, of course, jargon. Jargon by itself may seem like a mere inconvenience, but it's not, because jargon is like the inside joke for a company that your customer is on the outside of. It's exclusionary, and if I don't understand what you're talking about, I'm not going to decode and take the time to understand your message, because the burden of clear marketing is yours. You're the one responsible for clarity, not your audience. It's never your audience's burden. So if you put that on me, you are charging what I call a tax, a brain cycle tax. I'm not going to pay it. I got too many other things to do. Don't shove that tax in your customer's face. So that's why I hate jargon. But the other thing, jargon to me is symptomatic of not knowing your story. So it's not just a mere inconvenience. I do storytelling work. I work with companies, and I'm telling you, nothing screams, I don't know my story, like tons and tons of jargon. Because if you had a clear, compelling story, Company X, you would make like Julie Andrews in the Swiss Alps and be singing your song from the mountaintop. You would not be hiding behind jargon, because jargon dilutes what you do, and everybody uses jargon. Why would you not want to stand out? So I know that if you had a great story, you would not hide behind jargon. So it may seem like jargon's a mere inconvenience, but it's not. Remember, it's a tax on your audience. And number 2, it screams, me too, and also ran, because everybody else is going to use the same jargon. So don't do it. It's just awful. The second thing that sticks in my craw lately are guilt marketing tactics. I am really getting tired of the guilt marketing tactics. And I don't know about you, but I have looked at this in my inbox, and if inbox 0 came with a detonator, I think I'd finally manage my inbox, but it doesn't. So here's the thing. I'm seeing more and more stuff come through my inbox with headlines that are guilt and shame. And guilt and shame, there's cognitive research behind it and why it works. It creates a deficit, it creates a scarcity mentality, but it feeds in and panders to the wrong instincts. It's not about relationship building, but it's awful. I saw headlines last week like, you're missing out, or I guess you hate being successful. That was one of my favorites. I guess you hate being successful. That's horrible. Really? Really? That's an awful headline. You're missing out. Or, I guess you really just can't fathom wanting to have a successful business. All these kind of cheap, headlines. The other one was, well, I guess you just are going to miss the train. And then there was another one from a conference. A conference said, put out an email that had a little story about Sally. Sally didn't attend the conference. Sally is sad now because Sally's business is failing. And Sally's business is failing because she didn't go to our conference. Really? Really? Come on now. No, that's BS. Sally's business was probably already having problems before she did or did not go to your conference. But that's the worst kind of psychological pandering. It plays on that base fear. So yes, it will work in the short run, but I'm telling you, at what expense? Why would you want to sacrifice the long-term relationship you have with a potential customer for something really stupid and temporary? Right? And then that's how buyer's remorse happens. People give into these psychological tactics and then they regret it. Don't you want to build a long-term relationship built on integrity? Well, I sure do. And humor and integrity and being human are the pillars that I stand on, not these stupid guilt-based tactics. And I see tons of them every day in my inbox. And I know you do too. Don't do it. It's not worth it. So get rid of the guilt, get rid of the shame. Everybody out there has way too much guilt and shame already in their lives, and they don't need you piling on. That's what families are for. They don't need you. So don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. That's my thing. So anytime I see this stuff in my inbox, you know what I do? I can't delete fast enough. But not only can I not delete, I never subscribe to your stuff anyway, usually, but aside from that, you're never going to convert me because I don't appreciate the tactics. I'm all too aware of how the sausage gets made, and I really don't like it. It feels predatory, and it feels like it panders to that lower base fear, and I don't like it. Don't do it. So yes, yes, yes. All right. And the third thing I want to talk about is stories. Hey, Yael. Hey, Deborah. I really want to talk about this issue of stories because there's a template going around marketing that goes like this, and you'll recognize it. And I hate it. I hate it. Yes, here's what I hate. It's well, once I was really poor and broke and living in my car, and now, thanks to X system, I'm a millionaire, and here's my house, and here's how you can be a gajillionaire. And look, some people have really solid, true, authentic origin stories, and maybe they did go to rags to riches and they do have a genuine story. The issue is that rags to riches template has been played out, and it's like grandma's fruitcake that nobody wants that everyone's passing around. Let's pass around the fruitcake. And everybody's using the template. Now, I have no problem if the template is true. The issue is it's a template that too many so-called marketing gurus, that's a whole other thing for me, are preaching and teaching. It's like influencer in a box. Get our system while supplies last. It's a bunch of hogwash. It's nonsense. Now, if it's real, and if they tell you, yeah, this to boast, yeah. But I think they're telling you, obviously it's manipulative on the feelings, but if you do have a really solid origin story, there is nothing wrong with being authentic. Just watch for these things because everybody and their brother is using a template, and they're using a cardboard cutout, cookie cutter kind of assembly line thing. And then you're back to square one where your story is diluted because it's not real. And audiences are smart. Play to the height of your audience's intelligence. That's what we do in comedy. That's what we do in storytelling. Never pander. So here's my problem with it. If it's not real, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. If it's real and you really do have a rags to riches story, and my God, there are people who genuinely do, tell it in your way. Tell it in a way that's really real for you. Don't follow these template stories. I'm sorry, but it's awful. If I see one more video of a guy answering the door, ding dong, and there's like the Ferrari parked outside, and then, well, come on in. I'm going to show you in 5 steps how to be a gajillionaire. And it's like, welcome to my super mansion. Come on. Stop with the overpromise and the hype, because clearly, results are going to vary, right? It's like, whatever drug you're taking, results may vary. So it's really, I think, about truth in advertising. And when you use those kinds of tactics, in my mind, you are blowing the most important currency you have, which is integrity and trust. So don't sell your integrity and your trust for a cheap video or a cheap ploy that gets people to buy, and then they have buyer's remorse and you've blown the relationship. Stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it. Don't do it. Don't do it. It's not worth it. So those are 3 things. Hey, Manuel. Hey, Amanda. Hey. Welcome to my super mansion, which is a really great cartoon, by the way. Not to be confused with the cartoon Super Mansion, which has some really great people in it, like Keegan-Michael Key, and some. But that's different. That's awesome. You should watch that. But these types of tricks and tips, they're going around the internet, they're going around, everyone's using them. And I think what I'm seeing is a real loss of humanity and a loss to your own story. Because here's the thing, when you jump on what everybody else is doing, you diminish your own story. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to diminish you? I've got a story that a lot of people don't have. Why would I want to make my story look like everybody else's? It wouldn't be authentic, it wouldn't be real, and that's not who I am. And you shouldn't do that either, because you have a really wonderful story to offer the world. So don't diminish who you are to try to fit in, because that means you're diluting the power and the potency of your story. And that's who you are. And that's all you have, is your story and your reputation. So don't do it. Don't do it. So 3 major things again. There's a lot more things that I talked about in this article, and it seemed to resonate with a lot of people. I got some emails over the weekend, so thank you. But jargon, don't do the jargon. Jargon's not just an inconvenience. Jargon it really is a red flag to me. And I've been doing this stuff since Jesus was a baby. So I know this stuff. So when you start pandering, you start using jargon, you're really saying to the audience, that's your burden. And it's not their burden. Clarity is your burden. So don't use the jargon. Really, it's hard to do, to get to the clarity and get to a true, authentic story that you can be proud of and tell. But that's part of the heavy lifting that you have to do. So do it. The number 2 thing, guilt-based tactics. Don't do the guilt-based stuff. It's short-term. It's myopic. Don't do it. It's going to sacrifice the long run, which is all about relationship building. It's also a bunch of BS and everybody else is doing it. People have enough guilt and shame. What they're looking for is for you to tell a story about how you're going to make their lives better. Hey, Jeremy. Now, if you can tell a story about how you make their lives better in your email, great. But if it's just, well, you're missing the train. Well, I guess you don't like being successful. Well, I guess you're going to be like Sally. Sally didn't go to our conference, and now Sally's a failure. What a crock. What a bunch of crock. Maybe Sally read your email and just thought you were full of shit, and that's why she didn't want to go to your conference. So stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Really important stuff. Hey, Mia, really important. Tell that story of how you make people's lives better. Don't go for the cheap guilt tactics. They're not clever. They're played out. And actually, again, I think it puts more guilt and shame on your audience. And what they want you to do is tell them how you're going to make their life better. So you need to do the heavy lifting, not your audience. The third thing I talked about, again, stories. Beware the template. Beware the one-size-fits-all template. There is no one-size-fits-all. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, because now you're sacrificing the sanctity and the integrity of your own story. And there's nobody like you. There's nobody like you in the world. Why would you want to sacrifice and diminish the you-ness of you just to follow a template that everybody's using? You're better than that. You're better than that. So don't hide behind that template. Get your real story out. All right, those are my big pet peeves and why I think marketing is due for a reformation. And guess what? I'm going to kind of invoking a little bit of my 95 Theses, because I'm a nerd. I'm going to go old school. But I really think Martin Luther was like the OG. He was the OG protester. He was the original gangster protester. So I think it's time for marketing to start a reformation. I'm starting a reformation. I'm in the work that I do, and I hope you will too. And the best way for you to do that is to just get rid of all these really ridiculous, just bargain basement tactics and do the heavy lifting to excavate your story. And everything you do, how are you going to make people's lives better? And if you do that, forget these little cheap tactics. I'm telling you, you're going to connect in a more authentic way. And that's as real as it gets. I don't know how to do anything else but be real. That's just what it is. Hey, everybody. Hey. Oh my gosh, it's true. It's true. It's so true. It's so true. Yes, it is, Mia. Thank you. Yes. Courtney did a really nice book on creativity. It is true. And I think the same is true of marketing. Marketing's got to really be authentic and real. And I think we see too many people looking for the shortcuts, and there are no shortcuts. Just be you. Do the hard work to get to your story and what makes you different. And what makes me different is 20 years doing comedy on a stage and 20 years doing storytelling and running P&Ls in business. And why would I hide that under a bushel to mainstream myself? Why would I do that? That would be silly, because I would just set the bushel on fire and then I wouldn't stand out. Nobody wins on that one. So you got to be you. Find a way to just really do the hard work and be you. And that's my main story. I just wanted to get that out. I'm having a lot of conversations with companies, and these are the things that I'm seeing. The tactics, the shortcuts, everybody's looking for the hacks. But if you follow too many hacks, you end up shortchanging the thing that makes you you. So don't do that. You don't want to do it. It's not worth it because you got too much good stuff to give. Hey, Renee. Loving all these comments, all this good stuff. Well, I hope this inspires you. These are just some of the things that, I'm on a rant today. These are the things that are sticking in my craw. I'm sure there are things that you don't like about marketing and things that you see, and maybe you see a lot of these tactics too, and I'm sure they bother you as much as they bother me. They should. It's not good marketing, so don't do it. And the thing is most of the time your audience will never tell you to stop doing it. They'll just delete your emails and you'll never hear from them. So, sometimes having that feedback loop is really important. So, but I'd love to know. I'm going to sign off soon. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm working on my next book, and my brain is filled with ideas, and I've got to go for a walk and work some of that stuff out. But I'd love to know from you, you folks here. Thanks so much, Jeremy, Mia, Elaine, all these great comments, Renee, Manuel. Jason, 2 Jasons. We got the double. I just need a third for Jason Bingo. I have a third Jason I can bring on here for Jason Bingo. Let me know what bothers you about marketing. What is it that sticks in your craw that you'd like to see changed? So let's be the change we want to see in the world. I mean, that works for everything. So if there's something out there that you don't like about marketing, then take that as an inspiration to do something different and do it the way that only you can. So that's really my message. All right. All right, everybody, I'm going to go back to taking my walk and work on noodling some titles for my next book. So if you want to be part of my book Facebook group, and I don't add people without permission, I do not. Unless you tell me you'd like to be part of that group, I won't add you. But if you do, let me know. All right, everybody, have a fantastic day, and I go out there and, kick ass in marketing. All right, take care. Bye.